Hey guys, welcome to the Chalk Talk Wednesdays with the pack. You got Coach JT, myself, Coach Larry Martinez right here, and Coach Campbell Taylor, our mediator slash instigator slash whatever she needs to be, right?
Yep.
All right, Campbell. Well, what do we have in store for these guys today?
Okay, so I figured since we haven't really done any getting to know you questions, we'll ask a couple of relevant baseball getting to know you questions. And then we'll hop into some questions about training and development. And I'll just add in here so everybody knows if you have any questions, feel free to send them to me or comment on school and I will make sure that we get your questions answered right here on Truck Talk Wednesdays.
I love
I
it.
get
Hey,
All right,
are
don't
you guys
ask me
ready?
any questions about ex-girlfriends because your mom's in the other room.
Okay, so this first one is for Coach Larry. Who was your favorite player growing up and why?
Ooh, favorite player. Oh, in the 80s, 90s, it was had to be Cal Ripken. I mean, Cal was just a ultimate pro in his sport. Shortstop, broke records, the most longevity wise. Never came on the bench. I like how he played the game. They played hard, and you know, not having Colorado, we didn't have a lot of teams to watch. It was the Braves. I was able to watch the Orioles. I always loved the Orioles, and we had a distant cousin of mine that played for Orioles. He was a pitcher, Tim Martinez. He's from Lahana, and so I always watched the Orioles because of him. And then Cal was his shortstop, and it's a lot of fun memories watching them guys play. So yeah, Cal Ripken.
What a great answer, man.
Awesome.
I mean, he played every game at shortstop.
Every game.
I love it.
Okay, what about you, Coach JT?
Oh, Pudge Rodriguez, he was the man. I tell you what, it was so exciting because as a kid, I watched him. He had such fast hands, such quick feet. He was always back picking guys. He was always, I mean, he was old school catcher. He was into it. And when I was in college playing, I actually worked at the Strike Zone Lounge in Bank One Ballpark, and I got to meet Pudge. And by that I mean I bumped into him when he was coming out of the basketball court, and I was just like, it was like I don't want to say a godly moment, but it was really surreal because I had always just put this guy on a platform, and here he was, shorter than me, not quite as big as I was at the time, and just a really great guy. Didn't speak very good English, but he was a really great guy. And man, it was so cool. And he was just he played all the time. He really you knew he was having fun out there, and he didn't really care if you got too far off first. You were getting picked. It didn't really
Yeah,
nothing else mattered because he knew he was going to pick you. You know. If you tried to steal second, I mean, you made it every once in a while, but it wasn't that often.
yeah, exactly.
I loved it. So that was my guy.
That's awesome. Okay, so one of my favorite things in baseball is all of our superstitions or our pregame rituals. And I'm a big stickler, and Coach JT knows this, but I'm a big stickler for tuck your pockets in. And JT knows I'm constantly telling people to tuck their pockets in and don't cross the bats. So are there any superstitions that either of you are stricklers on?
Oh heck yeah, it's baseball. Exactly. You never cross the diamond. You never break a diamond. Whenever you throw the ball around, you never break the diamond. When I'm at third base or first base, whatever it is, I walk all the way around the home plate. You don't ever touch that dirt. You walk around the home plate. You never touch the line on your feet. You always hop on that line. You never walk across the mound. That's That's a big no-no. You don't walk across the mound. That's the pitcher's mound. You don't. That's their home, not yours. So you fly out. You walk. Make sure you get around that mound or whatever you do. As a batter, as a hitter, I always made a cross, and I always crossed. For every at bat. And but if you watch back in the old days, like Garcia Parra, he had his little twitches with his batting gloves and his feet, and it's a routine that you do, and we're all sticklers of it because it's baseball is definitely a superstitious part of the game, and if you don't do that, you're like, what happened? What's in my mind now? Kind of like with Crash Davis back in Bull Durham. He's talking to the pitcher in his head, and all of a sudden something else got in his mind. And it's a prime example. I mean, you don't want that in your mind. So, and yeah, I love the whole rabbit ears too with the pockets. Tuck it in, man. Tuck your rabbit ears in, because it's kind of funny because you could be playing little league or adult baseball, and it's the same kind of superstitions that's going on in each places. I mean, they still do the same thing. So I love it. It's the best game in the world.
I don't have any
Yeah.
superstitions.
Yeah.
Right. Sure, buddy.
No, she's been watching me do the same routine. I do the same routine in the on deck circle. I do the same routine when I get up after every pitch. Undo the flaps on the batting gloves, just tighten them back up, and get back in every single time. For how many at bats do you think?
A lot.
Oh my gosh. I don't even know because most games you get up to bat like at least 3 times. And last season you were playing in 3 different leagues, so that's at least 12 at bats a weekend. Or no,
She's
9 at
she's
bats
doing
a weekend.
she's doing the real math here.
Yes, you. Yes, you.
Okay.
A lot, a lot,
A lot.
and it's always the same, man. Always
It has
the
to be.
same.
Has to be.
In the 44 years you've been playing, I'd say it's quite a few at bats.
Oh yeah, I love it. I love it.
Okay. And then this one is a really fun one, and I'm really excited to hear your answers for this one. We'll start with Coach JT. What's your most memorable moment as a coach?
Oh my God. As a coach, I'd have to say Batzel.
Yeah.
And I know you know who I'm talking about. So this kid comes in, and what I did is I had this deal with the Spartans organization. So if they had kids that came and tried out for the majors but didn't make it, and they had enough of them that didn't make a team to put a team together, they'd call me and say, "Hey, will you coach this team for a season?" And so I would come in there and I would coach that team. And you can imagine, Larry, it was usually a pretty interesting lot of players. And so, and that's really the team that made me such a great coach. I mean, I learned so much from doing that. And Batzel comes on. This guy doesn't know where his hands are. He doesn't know where his feet are. He's all over the place. He's so awkward. And I started coaching him up. We got him into routines and we doing this stuff. And he started getting a little better, a little better, a little better. And then all of a sudden it was like a hockey stick. I mean, all of a sudden this dude put on muscle. He was so smart. He was passing all his classes. He was doing all this stuff. And his parents still love me. They still talk to me. And they're like, you changed the trajectory of this kid's life. And fast forward to high school, he was now a starting pitcher throwing in the low 90s, just ripped, just a stud. Chose to, because his parents run a lot of businesses, he chose to go into business in college and focus on that and not play, but he definitely could have. But I had coffee with him after he graduated from college, just here in Parker, because they live in Parker now. And I sat down with him, and man, I mean, he is a full on, well organized, just a great dude. And he's like, "Coach JT changed my life, man. I might have been, who knows, on drugs, on the street, whatever. But because you got me straight," because he was failing his classes when he came to me. and he was obviously trying to figure out who he was, and we just helped guide him into that spot. And yeah, it's definitely Battle. I mean, that's I get chills thinking about it, and he's doing so great. He's running like 8 Cinnabons right now.
That's awesome.
Oh,
That's
that's
awesome.
so awesome.
Yeah.
Very good, coach. I love it. Love it.
That's amazing. Okay, what about you, Coach Larry?
Mine would be having the Denver Bears. The My first travel team out of Denver when I got back into baseball. And I mean, I brought kids together, families together from different origins, different cultures, and the language barrier was different. Some spoke Spanish, some spoke English, and you brought those families together, and it became a family. And the boys did too. And I remember our last game we played at Metro, and we got walked off. And look in those boys' eyes, and the sadness that we had the game won, and just looking at what we done, me and my other coach Taylor, what we done to get these boys to be what they were that day. And it was fun watching them play, and what they accomplished. And out of organization, we had like 6 guys go and play at the next level. And right now we have 4 of them still playing. And but that was the best part. But after everything's all said and done, we got together for Christmas, and everybody showed up for a party, and just seeing everybody smiling and laughing and having a great time. And that was probably the best moment that I ever had coaching, because you brought these guys together and they became one. And that's what I'm so looking forward to with Pack and Pack Nation, and with Coach, and with you guys. And that's what the joy is. But as a coach, I'm gonna say the worst part is that last game when they're graduating, and it's like having your kid just take off to college or whatever, or get married, because they're going off and doing great things like you said. And I love that. And so it's also a curse, coaching, because you get these boys and they're part of you for so long, and all of a sudden they're gone. But even to this day, I have the boys still call me, text me, we're doing good. And that's what I love about it. So yeah, best part of coaching is probably making those bonds and that with the kids.
Oh, I love it.
Okay, are you guys ready to get into some questions about training and development?
Yeah, just try not to stump us tonight, okay? I know
Yeah.
you're feeling real brainsy over there at DU.
Yeah. I had a lot of Oakham floating around in here today, so we'll see.
Already by me already. What'd you have flying by you?
Okay.
Organic chemistry is what the
Yes,
OCHEM is.
organic chemistry.
You took that class, right, Larry?
Organic, not the chemistry part.
Fair. That's fair.
Okay. This is kind of a fun one. So if you guys had only 30 minutes a day to train, what would you focus on?
Kidding.
He beat me to it. You got 30 minutes every single day. And you're going to have to put it a little into context for me. Is this a pitcher we're talking about? Is this a shortstop? Is this a hitter? Like, what are we talking about? Are we talking about if I have 30 minutes to train my whole team a day? What frame that question a little bit better for me.
If you had 30 minutes a day to train your kids, like if you only had 30 minutes a day, what would you focus on? And this is your whole team.
Oh, that's an easy one. The fundamentals. You only have time for the basics, right? And it's like Coach Larry, he'll probably say this when he gets a chance to talk, but he's always talking about 20 quality swings is way better than 100 average swings. So the first thing I would do is set up stations where each kid is working at the same time on something. And so I would break it up so each one of them's working on something, and then make it quick and fun. It's a game. You're 2 minutes at each station you go through. You got 15 stations. That's your 30 minutes right there. And you can do a lot of stuff. You can do a lot of stuff If it's winter training, we're probably doing a lot of hitting. If we're out on the field, there might be pitching and everything else going on, but it'll be short, not a full bullpen, all kinds of stuff. I mean, there's a lot of fun things you can do, but I think the main thing I would do is break everybody up so every single kid is working all 30 minutes.
Yeah, well said, Coach. I mean, you're 100% right there. I always say this: the notion you got to crawl before you walk. And my best friend was a T, and you do soft toss, you could do T work, but you're absolutely right. You do not. No one stands around. There's always something you can do to get better. I mean, you can work on your stance. You can air hack. I mean, you can do a lot of things without even with a bat and a ball. I mean, you can do a lot of things. The mental side of things. Focus on what you're going to do with your hands, how your feet's going to be, your backside turn, everything. So 100% you're correct on that. You just got to go back to fundamentals and get that going. Then you can gradually get better and better and better. So then all of a sudden the drills get better, better and better throughout the week, the month, whatever it may be.
Yeah, and I think it's maybe important to expand on that just a little bit here, Campbell. Obviously, you know me your whole life, right? And I've spent, $250,000 going to all these personal development things and getting mentors and coaching and all this stuff because I wanted to show up for you girls as well as my boys and girls on the field as best as I could and be the best that I could. So I have a coach. I still have a coach. And what all of them agree on is a little bit every day produces exponential returns compared to once a week, twice a week. Because when you develop the habit of walking, how hard do you think it would have been to do that if you practiced on Tuesdays and Sundays? Right? How long would it take you to learn how to walk? Because between Tuesday and Sunday, you forgot what you were doing, right? But a little kid doesn't do that. They go out there on Monday and all day Monday they're trying to walk, and all day Tuesday they're trying to walk, and all day Wednesday they're trying to walk. And guess what? On Thursday they're running, right? And it's so true. And if you only have 30 minutes a day, if you had 30 minutes a day personally to go at it, I guarantee you you'd be a stud. I guarantee you. And if you can activate that fire in a kid to be able to go out there and do that, like a lot of times with my girls, they're like, well, I have this and I got to keep up with my studies and all this stuff. And they'll go up and I said, well, that's okay. Do a mirror exercise. Do this, do that. I don't care if it's 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 20 minutes. Just do something every single day that gets you towards your goal. And if your goal is playing in college softball, then every single day I wake up, I know I got to do something that's going to get me there.
100%.
Well, Larry and I are working with this guy, Coach Burt, and going to be working with him a lot more here soon. And one of the things that he says that I absolutely love is he builds this activation process, right? So every single morning he's working on his mind, he's working on his body, he's working on his spirit, and he's working on his business every single morning. And he does all four of those things before 8 o'clock in the morning. And so 8 o'clock is the cutoff. You got to have all four of those things done before you get there. And I think that's so fascinating because what it means is you're basically activating your drive, your hunger, your body, your energy to say, I am going to succeed. Here's my proof. Chris Duncan says the highest form of communication is your behavior, right? So if I'm talking to a girl and I'm saying, work on this, and she comes back next week and I'm saying the same thing again, and she comes back next week and I'm saying the same thing again, I said, look, are you doing the exercises at home? Are you doing the homework or the home play, I like to call it? Are you doing that? And she goes, yes. And I said, okay, well, your swing tells me different.
Yeah,
And here's the thing. If you were actually doing that, you would be making progress.
exactly.
It's not, I mean, you can tell me anything you want with this mouth, but you're not walking any better today than you were last week. I know you weren't walking. You weren't
Yep.
practicing.
Yep. Good question.
Yeah. I think that's great. I mean, I think even going into like the anatomy side of things, like with your walking example, if you're not using those muscles, you're never going to be able to walk because you're not building up that strength. So even like doing a mirror exercise, you're just like you're building up your confidence, if you're taking 15 to 30 minutes a day to do um hitting exercises or pitching exercises or something, you're building up that muscle memory and it's just going to become ingrained in your brain. So I think that's great.
Sharpen the saw, they say. You
Yep.
sharpen it every day. So, yep.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay, kind of going off of that. What's one drill every player should be doing outside of practice? Like one drill that they should do. Maybe it's every day, maybe it's like twice a week. What's that one drill that you're like, please, if you're not going to do anything else, just do this?
Larry's going to take this one.
A drill that you do every day. We're doing about hitting, pitching, fielding. What are we talking about?
It can be anything. Like it can be like, do this because this is going to build up your confidence and it's going to translate onto the field.
You
Or
know, growing up, we had tennis balls off the wall every day. Either it's off of a garage door, walking to school. Hand-eye coordination was very, very big in baseball. I mean, anything you do, it it's big. Hey, I'm sorry about that. And it's huge. And so hand-eye coordination, something to do with your hands, juggling, anything that you can do to make your activate your eyes and your hands together is huge. And like I said, we did a lot of off the off the wall ground balls, short hands, backhands, whatever we did. Some of baseball we did in some aspect of the way.
I love it. I love it. I thought you were going to say knob the ball, but that's okay.
That's with a T. We got that covered too.
This man, I tell you what, if there's one thing, it should say knob the ball on his forehead. He's like, you want to hit well? Knob the ball. You want to hit consistently? Knob the ball.
And opposite field.
Yes.
I'm a
Yep.
component to the opposite field hitting because man, if you say to the opposite side, everything else that comes to you, you won't pull off. You're staying closed. You go in middle. You go in oppo. You're pulling the ball, and now you make that field that much bigger instead of this big. You have the gaps. You have the alleys. Now you're a complete hitter that way, and it drives me crazy, Coach. When you see the third baseman playing shortstop in a game, what do you think you're going to do? What are you going to do as a hitter?
I'm
I'm
hitting
going to
it
figure
down the
out
third
how to
baseline.
exactly. I'm going to bunt the ball, get on base because that's what I get paid for to get on base, not fly out or get out. Or I'm going to learn how to hit opposite field
Yep.
because I will be here for a long time if I learn how to do that. Correct?
Oh
Because
yeah.
if you're striking out every other bat, you're striking out 10 times in 2 weeks. I'm on the bench and I'm not playing, so I'm going to learn how to hit. And the best way to hit is opposite field, and just learn that way.
Yeah. I love it.
yeah,
Did we answer that question? I'm not even sure, Kim.
you did.
Okay.
I mean, do a hitting drill every day, knob the ball.
Well,
Um,
you got
Love
to
it.
understand real quick, Campbell. You're talking to two hitters.
Yeah,
Like we can
yeah,
flat out hit the ball,
yeah.
and that's what we do.
yeah,
100%.
And that's what we are really good at teaching. So we can teach the other things too, but we got to start there.
Yeah.
I mean, don't sell yourself short. I've seen you both in the field. You both do incredible.
Yeah,
Oh, thank you.
because we
We
have
can't
to,
wait.
right?
Yeah.
I feel like part of being an all-around player, it starts at the plate. Because I've seen so many people where if they're having a bad day at the plate, they get in their head, and then that translates to playing in the field and they start making errors, you know? That's just one of the fundamental things of baseball or of softball is being able to hit that ball.
You're 100% right. And in this game, it's a mental side that can mess you up. And if you take it out on the plate, the field, the baseball gods will find you every single time. And I've been there as a player and as a coach, and you just got to learn how to differentiate yourself from, okay, take this at bat, it's gone, wash it away, it's gone. Now I got to go play first base, whatever, I got to go pitch. And we had a kid on my team that he's going to be one of our guest speakers coming real soon. And 6'3", 6'4", about 220, solid, hits bombs in BP. But he was our best pitcher. So I know what he could do on the mound, but when he was on the plate and he struck out or a flight out, whatever, he goes in the dugout and everybody just scatters. So he took it from the dugout to the mound and he wasn't effective. So that's why I told him, I said, hey, when you pitch, you don't hit. You're done hitting because I need you on the mound more than I need you on the plate because you're dominating the game on the mound. On the plate, I mean, in the plate, you're hit or miss, and it affects you in both ways. And after he understood that, man, he became one hell of a player. I mean, I love watching him play. So yeah, definitely you have to mental side, let it go, wash it out, and carry on the other way.
Yeah.
I love that. And um, are we just talking about the mental side here, Campbell, or can I go stay on that for a second and just make a comment that feels like it's relative, but maybe a little disconnected from this topic?
Yeah, go for it.
So, one of the things that I found over the years, and it's this whole thing about gossip, right? It's this whole thing about talking about somebody behind their back and whatnot, and that will, and it was interesting to watch in the dugout over the years how that works, and I finally figured it out, right? So there's the words that come out of your mouth are you speaking loud, right? And the things you're thinking are you speaking softly. Just because nobody can hear what you're thinking doesn't mean you're not saying, right? If you're thinking it about the guy who's sitting next to you, your teammate, your battery mate, or whatever, if you're jealous that that guy is playing and you're maybe not playing right now, or that guy's pitching and you're not pitching, or that girl's playing first base and you're not playing, or that girl's catching and you're not catching, whatever, regardless of what the situation is, if you're thinking bad thoughts about that girl who's catching, when you go out onto the field, who do you think that's affecting?
You.
The girl who's thinking it, the boy who's thinking it, right?
100%.
And,
Yep.
and I tell my team, I say, just because you don't say it, don't mean doesn't affect you. Just because you don't say it doesn't mean it doesn't affect your teammates. And I do this exercise. Excuse me. I do this exercise at the beginning of the season with all the teams that I've coached for years, and I do this. It's a I'm going to forget what the name of it is, but it's a muscle testing, right? So I have the girls all line up and I have them say, okay, think about your favorite person or your favorite time or that time, a puppy, right? And you have them hold their arms out and you test their arms and they're super strong. And I'm like, all right, do you remember that girl who was real mean on impact goal last week? And da 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 da. Now test your arms and they're all weak. And I said, that girl was here. You ran into her last week, and still today you're letting her affect you. So this thought in your mind affects how you play. It affects how hard you hit the ball. It affects you in the field, how hard you throw the ball, if you're able to field that ball. And this is exactly what Coach Larry said just a minute ago, where this player was pitching and he was dominating, and then he goes in there and messes up at one at bat, and it sort of trickles through everything else. Well, I can tell you that kid was saying something to himself, right? speaking real softly, and it wasn't good things.
Nope.
I don't even have to know them to know that that's what it was, right? And that's that part of the game is what a lot of these younger coaches that we're trying to get to, they don't understand how much that impacts. And so as a coach, when I first started out, I did what my coaches did. I yelled at you. I told you how retarded you were and stupid you were and all of these things. And I didn't feel good about that. And then as I learned more and grew, I was like, you know what? That actually isn't a very effective way to coach. Not only do the players not get better, they do listen to me, right? They do give me that attention. But I promise you, a lot of those players, the moment they left the field, they forgot about me or they were thinking bad thoughts about me, right? Because even though I was effective still at winning with that style, it's just not the way of the world anymore. I mean, now that we understand how that thoughts and those things affect the dugout and your teammates and everything, it really you just coaches that coach that way just they can get results on the field because it's sort of like fear. You can use fear to motivate somebody, but the second that fear is gone, they're not motivated anymore. If you inspire somebody, they leave, they're still inspired. I'm still inspired from Coach Larry when he was yelling at me in the parking lot one day. I was just like, man,
Yelling.
this is amazing. He got me activated.
Yelling. Passionate, passion, a lot of passion, coach.
A lot of passion. A lot of passion.
You're 100% right there. I mean, when we played back in the 90s, we had those coaches that they would yell, scream, and you would go through a brick wall because you want to prove them wrong. You're wrong. This is how in football, basketball, baseball, whatever it may be, you would go through a wall for them. And you fast forward 20 more years from now, and I had a parent come up to me and said, "What'd you tell the boys after that game?" And I was like, I always do. I gave them a positive, negative, positive. And he goes, the way that I coached you, you can't do these to these kids now because they will fold up and they won't come out of a shell, and you could potentially lose a kid for the rest of the year if that's the way you coached or this guy coached or whatever it may be, because all they know is fear, and they will not break out of that shell, and they don't trust you. And like we said before, coaching is all about trust and that rapport with these boys or girls. And if you lose that trust with the kids, you lose everything. And so I had a great coach taught me that in college. He was coaching us, and he would yell, scream, kick buckets, this and that. And then you fast forward to he went to another program, and he told me, he goes, I can't coach these kids the way I coach you guys because it just ain't the same. They will not break out of that shell. And 100% true. I mean, you're 100% right there.
I love it. Okay, game
Yep.
over. No, I'm just kidding. What's next?
Um, how do you balance building strength in the weight room with staying fast and flexible?
Oh,
You got this one, don't you?
yeah, I wish somebody would have taught me that early. I thought it was build, 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 and then you get injured. So it's not really about that. I mean, you want to get strong and you want to get fast and all of those things. And actually, earlier in this call, we talked about Pudge Rodriguez, and he was the one that got me turned on to yoga because he's like, it not only strengthens you, it stretches you, it makes you more elastic, and all these things. And he didn't get injured very often. I don't know if you guys watched him at all, but he didn't get injured very often. And he always attributed that to eating healthy and right, feeding his body well. But yoga, he always did yoga before the games. It kept him um, uh, loose and fit and all of those things. But I think there's some alternatives to the way when we grew up, because like when we grew up, our coach was like, "Go lift weights in the weight room." That was our training. That was literally what he said. Go pump iron, I think is exactly what his words were. And that's okay if you're trying to be a bodybuilder, but bodybuilders aren't very flexible. You ever seen them walking around, like this? They're not baseball players, and those guys tend to get hurt. And you can be strong, but you'll notice the baseball players that are strong, they're usually pretty flexible too. And it's a new era of training, and it's not really so much about balancing that, but find an exercise that works for you and your body that keeps you flexible and gets you strong. If you can, whatever that is, that could be Pilates or yoga or Tai Chi or just working out in the gym. I don't care. Whatever it is for you, that's perfect. That's perfect. Just make sure it does those two things.
Okay, watch Coach's face when I say this because he's gonna go, "Oh yeah." Coach and I went to a place. I'm giving this guy a plug too because it was huge. Coach Carrasco, Lamar Community College. Same way. I thought it was getting big and built and all this good stuff, get strength. And Coach Carrasco down Lamar Community College has these boys stretching to ways that their whole body just morphs into this like pretzel.
Yeah.
And when they get done with this program, they are a lot more flexible, a lot more faster, throw harder, and everything goes on to this way of stretching. And I was like, firsthand, I had a pitcher that played for my organization hitting like 84, 85. And last year he hit 92, 93, all because of what he was doing with the stretching and the flexibility he has with his arm, with his back, with his torso, with everything. And I was like, wow. So that opened my eyes up a lot to make sure you stretch. So yeah, so I big old plug to Coach Carrasco down Lamar Community College. You're doing great things, and thank you for letting us go out there and talk to you.
Yeah, that's so true. So true.
Yeah. Well, even with like the 25s and the 35s that I help out with, um, they will always tell you the biggest thing, and they always say it's because they're old. But the only reason why they're still playing when they're in their 30s and 40s is because they stretch, because that is so important. And usually the only time we have injuries in those older leagues is when someone doesn't stretch before a game. And it's normally like, oh, my hammy's gone, my quad's gone.
Now you make
100%,
me
man.
sound old, Campbell.
Yeah, but 100%
So true.
stretch, so important. So,
Huge.
so important.
So flexibility and strength. You can get them in any way you can get that. If you can get flexibility and strength. And I would look into what they're doing at Lamar Junior College because they go in throwing one speed and they come out being faster. So whatever they're doing is right. It works.
100%. Yeah, it opened my eyes up. Yeah, exactly.
Okay. And then kind of moving in a different direction here. What is your advice for a player who's trying to break out of a slump?
You want to start with that one, Larry?
No.
You want me to start?
No, I will. It's always mental. I mean, you're in that slump. You can have 0 for 2, 0 for 3, 0 for 4 days, and you're in that dugout and you're just beating yourself up. And I've been there. I mean, I've been there that it was baseball was this big, and I've been to the days that it's been this big. And I had a great coach one day talk to me. I was in a slump, and I was having one heck of a year, and I was killing the ball, doing great things, and then all of a sudden I went through a slump. And you think as a ball player, as an athlete, that you need to go and practice more, and go hit tees, and go do this, and go do that. And he was a softball coach. Give you a plug for that. He pulled up my next and goes, "What are you doing?" I go, "I'm in a slump, and I need to get out of it." And he goes, "And by you doing this, is going to helping you out?" I go, "I thought it was." He goes, "That's the worst thing for you." Step away from the plate, get away, go do something different, change your mindset, change everything about you for this day, and then come back tomorrow. It's a new day. And that's one thing there's a lot of things you can do when you're in a slump, but I know most of the time it's mostly mental, and you need to step away, go watch a movie, go do something that's not baseball related or sport related, and get your mind straight and get it right, and then come back and do the next day at the ballpark because it's going to be there.
That is so true, Coach. I love that. And one of the things that I always said in that training, if you're in a slump, what is every kid trying to do to get out of a slump? He's pushing harder. He's trying harder. He's doing more. He's really forcing the issue. And as I've hit a lot of home runs in my career, I know for a fact, Coach, that you've hit a lot of home runs in your career. How many times when you were really trying to hit a home run did you hit a home run?
Right, that many times.
Yeah, exactly. It always comes, and when you hit the home run, it's the smoothest swing. You cannot barely feel the ball hit the bat, and you just know, you just feel that flow, right? It's that flow. And if you're in a slump, you're forcing everything, forcing everything. You're taking a square peg and trying to put it in a round hole, and it just won't go. So I love what that coach said to you, where he said, step away from it, right? What I would say is the same exact thing. Do something that you love, or watch a funny movie, or something that completely separates you from that. So when we're in a slump, we've got this string of negativity here that's just sort of, it's attached to us and it's holding us. And what that coach did was he convinced you that it would work to actually walk away from this. And what happens is that negativity releases.
Uh-huh.
And if you go away and you're watching a funny movie and you're laughing and you're doing all this stuff, you realize when you come back on the field, you feel refreshed and energized, and you feel a lot different than when you were trying to force that issue. And that's because that energy is now gone, because you were doing a lot better.
Yeah. I think going along with that, like distraction is probably one of the best techniques that I use with my guys, especially when they're in slumps. Because like if someone comes into the dugout and they're stuck in their head, I'm not going to be like, hey, make sure, keeping your eye on the ball, or make sure you're doing this, make sure you're doing that. They come into the dugout and I'm going to be like, did you see that bird out in left field? Or like, I'm just going to try to get them out of their head. And one of my favorite things to do, and Coach JT taught me this, when you're in the cages with someone who is having trouble hitting because you can see them thinking about it, you just got to tell them something funny. Like usually my go-to if in the cages is like, "Oh, hey, you need to pick your wedgie real quick." Right? Or just like say something like just totally out of pocket to distract them, right? And that's when they start hitting that ball again. Or they, like you said, they remove that negativity, they get out of their heads, and all of a sudden it's like, oh yeah, I know what I'm doing. I can do this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This brings up, do we have time for me to do a quick share here, Campbell?
Yeah.
So people think I'm crazy when I'm out there coaching. I mean, in coach, you haven't been out there on the field really with me yet, but so if I got somebody in there and I'm doing front toss and I'm training them and they're struggling ground ball, and it's exactly what Campbell said. You start seeing them get in their head, and I said, okay, I need you to do me a favor. Don't think about hitting the ball or any of that stuff. What I need you to do is focus on your pinky toe. And they're like, what? Yeah, just focus on your pinky toe. Just tell me every time you swing, don't worry about what happens to the ball or hitting it or not hitting it or whatever. That's all, whatever. I don't care. We're in the cages in practice. Nobody cares, right? Nobody's looking. Nobody cares. How's your pinky toe? Tell me, because I need to know where your pinky toe is. And they're like, okay. And then they start in the first couple swings. They're still a little, they're still thinking. I'm like, no, tell me. You got to tell me. You got to verbally tell me. How does your pinky toe? Well, the first one is like, oh, well, it feels fine. I don't know. So obviously you haven't thought about it yet. Tell me how your pinky toe is feeling. You know what? I feel like it's getting out there a little bit and all this stuff. And one of the parents, and I was doing this with a young lady who was on Miley's Revolution team, and one of the parents comes up to me after she gets out, and they couldn't hear what I was saying to her, but they saw what happened and how she was just absolutely demolishing the ball when she was thinking about her pinky toe. And her dad comes out and he's like, "What did you say to her? I gotta know." And I'm like, "You don't want to know. You have like what I said had everything and nothing to do with what just happened."
Exactly. Exactly. No, I agree.
I think also a great tactic that I've seen Coach JT do before is, and I've used before is like when you see your player overthinking something like that, like whether they're in the field or at the plate, you just gotta make them laugh. Because sometimes it's just as easy as like making them laugh that can get them out of their head. And all of a sudden, like you said with your girl, she just started crushing the ball.
Yep.
Yeah.
And she didn't even realize it. She's like, I'm like, "So what's happening here?" And she's like, "My toe is fine." I'm like, "I know, and so is your swing."
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. You hit it on the nose with this overthinking. You
Oh yeah.
overthink on everything, like a test. When you studied and studied and studied all night long for this test and you overthought everything and you get to it, you're like, I know this. I know that because your mind is strong. And once you get mind over matter, you're done. So just quit overthinking it. Just go with it and you'll be just fine. Because you know you got the right tools. You know you've been taught the right way. Just let it go and you'll be just fine.
I love how you said that right there. Love it.
And I think a lot of what we've talked about today, it shows that baseball and softball, they're really majority they're mental games. Like this is just a game where you need to make sure you're in the right headspace. And something I've been doing recently that I feel like is really helping with me mentally and with my guys mentally is I told them write out sticky notes, and it can just be as simple as like I'm awesome or I'm smart, just like something like that. Or even like I crushed the ball. Just something as simple as that, and just put that on your mirror. And every day when you're brushing your teeth or brushing your hair in front of the mirror, you're looking at that. And it helps get your inner monologue right so that when you go out onto the field, you're like, hey, I am awesome. I can do this. And when you have all of your guys coming into practice with, or into games with great attitudes and, um, when they're in the right mental space, it completely changes the game.
Oh, that's so true, Campbell. When I got like say we're playing it in a championship tournament, and in fact we were playing Miley's team Revolution was undefeated, and they were playing this really really tough team, and this was if they would have lost, they would have still been in the tournament. They would have still been going, but um, it was come down to crunch time, and this girl was just dominating. I mean, and you could see it was affecting them. And I just said, and I wasn't even the coach. I was a parent, and I just said, "Hey, coach, can I just say something to the girls in the dugout real quick?" He said, "Yeah, yeah, yeah." Of course, by then they've known me, and they're like, "Yeah, definitely say something to the girls." So I go in there and I said, "Look, are you guys working at this game? Are you working at this game? Is this work? Is this like hard for you?" And they're like, "No." Well, do you hear what I'm saying? This is a game. You are playing a game. Tell me how many games you go home and play at night or with your friends or on your phone where you're not smiling and having fun. So why wouldn't you do that in this game? This is a game. Smile and have fun always. And the outcome is going to be in your favor whether you win or not. And they went out there and they won it on this crazy play where Miley was on third base and there was a sharp ground ball hit the third. The winning run is Miley. She immediately breaks for home. The shortstop has her. It was a hard hit ball. She has her. And Miley does some crazy dive spin thing and touches the plate, and the catcher drops the ball, and the game's over. I mean, it was just, and I'm like, you're playing a game. That's
Yep.
and everything you said, Campbell, is make them laugh, make them joke. Why? Because you're playing a game. You play a game better if you're having fun.
Very good. Very good. I go one step further than that one too. It's got to be positive. When you're thinking positive, good things happen. Like you always hear, build an inning. How do you build an inning? Get a hit. What's a hit? It's something happening positive. So you get a hit, guy behind you gets a hit, then he gets a hit. It's contagious. So it's all that wording you say. Hey, build an inning, get a hit, contagious. Everybody's happy because when you get a hit, he's happy for you. You got a hit. Now he got a hit. Now the guy behind you gets hit, and it just rolls like a snowball effect, and it just keeps on going. But when you make an error, and you get down, and the guy in right field's down and mad at you, boys at him, he makes an error. It just snowballs effect. So if you're positive and things are going good, it's going to be good. But man, the minute you get that thing in your head, that whole negativity in your head, it goes down, and all of a sudden it just snowballs, and then all of a sudden you have an 8 run inning, and you're like, what the heck has happened? Because one guy made an error, and then you got mad and that an error, and like, holy cow! But the main thing is just be positive. Just be
I
positive
love
because
it.
it's going to
I
change.
love it. And I take when I have the girls or the boys out there, and if somebody makes an error, I tell the person who made the error, you got to just brush it off. Just physically brush it off. Okay, brush it off. I want that ball again. You got to, I want the next ball to come to me because I'm going to make a play. I know that, right?
Yeah.
Brush this one off. Let's go. And so I teach the girls and the boys, hey, brush it off and physically do it. Brush it off. It's gone. It's now gone. Play's over.
Yep.
Yeah. I absolutely love that. And I think like you can translate anything you do on a ball field over to everyday life, you know? If you're at work or at school and you make a mistake, or maybe you don't do as well on an exam or a homework assignment as you thought you were going to do, you can just, brush it off. It's okay. I've got the next one. Because if you just keep harping on that one assignment or that one exam, or a project at work or something that didn't quite go the way you wanted it to go, you're just going to keep beating yourself up and you're not going to get anywhere. But if you just come into it with, hey, you know what? I'm going to brush it off. I'm going to keep going. I'm going to stay positive. Then you'll see that your life is just going to get so much better.
You are your dad's daughter. Because I hear that every single day. You may think this is the way it's going to be, but it's not always the way you think it's going to be. And I was like, and when I got that mindset in my mind, I'm like, no, he's not right. He's not right. And man, he is so right. And I mean, trust me, there have been days in our business that I'm like, what's going on? And we talked about it today. We see us always smiling because, man, things are going good. And I may think it's going this way, but in all reality, it really was this way. And you are your dad's daughter for sure. Because I hear that every single day.
And I'm usually right, ain't I?
Yeah.
Well,
Oh, the truth. Some secrets are coming out here, Kevin. Well, I think that's the end. We're done. This Q and A today is done. Chalk Talk Wednesday is over before Campbell has anything else bad to say about me.
no, I just can't boost your ego too much, you
I
know?
know, right?
Oh yeah, I know.
Good
You got to
job.
keep
Good
me
job.
level headed.
Yeah.
You got to keep me down. Larry does
Someone's
a
got
good
to keep
job
you.
because
Yeah.
Larry does a good job because he's such a great coach.
And now,
Makes me, I'm like, okay, I'm good. I'm no Larry.
we do a good job together. That's what I like about it. So we're good.
Yeah. Well, hey guys, I think this is a good time to wrap it up. Want to welcome anybody and everybody who wants to join Pack Nation. Our website's almost live. We're getting excited. We're getting some momentum, some new teams. We're adding new teams. We're adding new teams tonight. It's so exciting. We're adding people to the community. We're adding people to a lot of the other things we can't talk about now, but it's we've built a powerful team and I think the biggest thing that hopefully comes through every time we do one of these calls is we love this game. We love our kids. We love your kids. And we want to see them succeed. And not just in baseball and in softball, but we want to see them. We want to activate them. As Coach Burt would say, we want to activate them and have them leave their mark on this world And I know that seems like a lofty goal, but I've seen it, and I've seen it so many times. What you do as a coach, what I do as a coach, what all of the people watching this do as a coach, you don't know how how far your influence goes until years later when somebody comes back to you and says, "You know what, coach, you saved my life."
Yep.
And I don't care how many times I did this for free, how many times I went onto the field. That one time, I would do it all over again,
100%.
just to help that one kid. Absolutely.
I agree.
I love it. Pack Nation.
Awesome.
All right. Anything to close it out, Campbell?
Um, I just want to say thank you so much to everybody who's watching this. Thank you to Coach JT and Coach Larry, for being here. And I'm just gonna throw it out there again. If you have any questions, feel free to email me at campbell@trainwithpack.com. Or no, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, that's who.
Sorry, new email. Still trying to remember it. Um, or send me a message um on the website where you can find our Zoom links and our recordings. And feel free to send me your questions so that I can get them in here and we can answer them live for Q&A, or hop on the Zoom call and ask questions, because we would love to have people come in here and ask questions and answer your questions.
Yeah, it's
Awesome.
exciting and it's dynamic, and we really appreciate you, Campbell. And I think I'll close it out with this. Number one, if you look up Train with Pack on School, School is the platform where these calls are hosted. You can join that community right now for free. It won't always be like that, but you can now go in that community and start the discussion. If you want us to talk about something, if there's something you're passionate about or that you're dealing with right now as a coach, we've been through it. There's anybody on this call that hasn't been through it, we'll help you through it. We can. You don't have to do it alone. That's why we have this community, right?
Hey, coach. And next week you're on the road, aren't you? You're taking Pack Nation on the road.
I'm
So
taking it to the World Series
excited.
in Phoenix. I am. I might be at
Yes.
a stadium actually doing the call next week.
That's awesome, man. I'm excited for that one.
And
Thanks.
Campbell,
So I'm going to be keeping a book.
that's right. Campbell will be right next to me.
Oh, I'm gonna be jealous.
And let's be really, really brutally honest. She's gonna be soaking up some of those Phoenix Rays.
I guarantee she will be. Both of you guys are.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. We love it. Well, thank you, Pack Nation. Thank you, everybody. Thank you for being here, for watching this. And we hope this somehow helps you in some way. That's why we're here. And we'll see you Monday from Phoenix. Some of us might still be here in Denver and Parker. Some of us are going to be in Phoenix next week.
Enjoy. Be safe.
All right.